So today's thought of the day is discovering your emotional triggers. Just imagine your mom says, Beta, your cousin got promoted again. Suddenly you feel like a complete failure, or your friend doesn't reply to your WhatsApp message for 3 hours and you're convinced they hate you. Sounds familiar? So, welcome to the fascinating world of emotional triggers. Those invisible buttons that turn us from rational human beings into, well, let's just say, not our best selves. Now, think of emotional triggers as your mind's security alarm system, but one that's been programmed by a paranoid uncle who sees danger everywhere. Now, these are intense emotional reactions rooted in past pain or unresolved experiences that hijack our present moment. When Priya's boss gives her feedback, she doesn't just hear constructive criticism. She hear her father's voice saying, "You're never good enough." And when Arjun's girlfriend takes time to respond to his calls, he doesn't think she's busy. He relives the abandonment he felt when his best friend ghosted him in class 10th. Our triggers are like that one relative at family gatherings who brings up embarrassing childhood stories, and they show up uninvited and make everything awkward. Here's the beautiful paradox: our triggers are actually gifts wrapped in an ugly paper. They're like those annoying notification sounds on your phone. Irritating, yes, but they're pointing to something that needs your attention. Every trigger is a GPS location pin on your emotional map, making exactly where healing is still needed. When 16-year-old Rahul explodes every time someone questions his choices, his anger isn't really about the present moment. It's about all those times he felt powerless and unheard. Think of triggers as your inner child tugging at your sleeve and saying, "Hey, remember me? I'm still hurting here." And let's visit the greatest hits of emotional triggers, the classics that unite us all. The rejection trigger, when your crush leaves you on scene and suddenly you are reliving every time you weren't picked for the cricket team. Or the criticism trigger, your mom comments on your weight and you transform into a defensive lawyer presenting the case why carbs are actually vegetables. Or the control trigger, your partner rearranges your bookshelf and you feel like they've invaded your personal space worse than that neighbor who borrows sugar but never returns the container. Or the failure trigger. You don't get selected for that college society, and your brain helpfully reminds you of every exam you didn't ace or every interview you fumbled. And that time you mispronounced schedule in English class. So the abandonment trigger. Friends make plans without you, and suddenly you are convinced you're destined to become that person who talks to pigeons in the park. And here's where the magic happens. The moment you recognize a trigger, you've already won half the battle. It's like finally figuring out why your Wi Fi keeps disconnecting. Once you know the problem, you can fix it. So, triggers are like emotional buttons wired from the past. If you know where they are, no one can press them without your permission. Awareness transforms you from a victim of your emotions into curious observer. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Right? And when you catch yourself mid trigger, You can pause and think, interesting. My 15-year-old just walked into the room. What does she need right now? So I want you to become an emotional detective, not the dramatic confrontational type, but the gentle, curious kind who solves mysteries with compassion. And here's your mission. Step one, recall a recent moment when you felt intense emotion, anger, sadness, defensiveness. It can be anything. Maybe it was when someone cut you off in traffic or when your parents compared you to someone else again. Then, step two, ask yourself three magical questions. Yes, three. One, what exactly happened? Two, what emotion did I feel in my body? And number three, what old memory or belief did this situation awaken? And step three, write a letter to that part of yourself that was hurt in the moment. Not to fix or change anything, just to acknowledge and comfort that younger version of you who's still carrying that pain. Because your triggers aren't your enemies. They are like breadcrumbs leading you back to the parts of yourself that need love and healing. Every time you respond to a trigger with curiosity instead of reactivity, you're not just changing your present, you're healing your past and creating a freer future. So here's my challenge. For the next week, become friends with your triggers. When they show up, and they will, it happens with everyone, greet them like old friends bringing important news. Ask them what they need. Listen with compassion and watch how this simple shift transforms not just your reactions, but your entire relationship with yourself. Because the goal isn't to never feel triggered, it's to dance with your triggers so gracefully that they become your teachers, not your masters. So remember, the most beautiful gardens grow from the soil that's been tended with the most care. So, emotional landscape is no different. And with that thought, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.